What's up? What's up? What's up? Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of a Stoked podcast. I am your host, one of your hosts, Javon Stokes, artist, writer, creator, publisher. I don't know. I always go through my resume on this, but I really should stop. Yes, I'm Javon Stokes. Hi. And to my, I did it right. I did it, even though you didn't see my finger. To the side of me is co-host and author and educator of young minds, Jamari Stokes. What's going on, man?
What's going on with you?
Man, I sound like a frog. That's what's going on with me. I don't know what's going on. Every time I go to this place that has a lot of like parties with a lot of little kids, I always come away feeling bad. Every time.
Germ magnets.
They really are though. And no one's wearing a mask, and I've kind of gotten out of wearing a mask, so it's tough, man. It's so easy to get sick, especially when you're dealing with kids.
I've told you I'm waiting for. I'm trying to patent my Lysol mister that goes above doors. I feel like it's absolutely necessary. Exactly.
They wouldn't even do that though, because kids go to these places and they be sick. Like they're already sick. And I'm sitting here going like, you guys shouldn't be here. Before we get into all that, we have really good guests today. Hopefully she's able to get on. Adwoa Rey. Hopefully she's able to get on. I know we are having some technical difficulties, but as y'all know, it's every fourth or fifth show is where we are. As always, you can go to visuallystoked.com and pick up all my cool stuff. Right now, I can just forget the image. I'm gonna just look at that. This is really nice. Look at this cover. This cover is delicious. I mean, it's beautiful. Yes, but Heat number 2 is printed. It's out. It's right here. So if you like Heat number 1, or you like the trade or any of it, please go pick it up. Visuallystoked.com. Also, this Saturday, I will be at East Coast Collectibles Convention in Mohegan Sun. Normally I do a big introduction, but we got to make sure this technology is working. So I'm gonna pull her in and then give their introduction after. Adwoa, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can see your picture too. All right.
Fantastic.
All right, we're gonna jump right into it because I know you got places to be and children to take care of. I understand. All right, here we go. So just hold on. Let me do the intro. Our next guest is a very good friend of mine who I've known for over 2 decades. She's built an incredible career in and around politics, as well as an impressive resume, including roles as special assistant to the vice chair of the House Democratic Caucus, Congressman John Larson, and Chief Advancement Officer at Sojourners. She's made it her mission to provide education and advocacy training to faith communities, as well as to provide spiritual support for women of color in politics. Let's give a stoked round of applause to Reverend Adwoa Rey.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Get the titles.
I know I got to make sure I got all the titles. I probably missed one, didn't I? I missed the title for you, didn't I?
All good.
Okay, all right.
Is there a doctor in there as well?
Well, she gave me a list of titles. I was like, that's going to be the whole show.
Thank you for having me. It's good to meet you, right? But yeah, it's so funny. We're kids, and then now we're like adulting.
Yes, we're old.
And doing
the word you're looking for is old.
Okay, right. We are maturing. Let's say that.
I'll take that one.
Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for coming on. This you were supposed to be on a few weeks ago, and then you know how life takes us, but I'm very
Mm-hmm.
happy that we were able to work this out to get you on. I know normally on this show we talk to people in the creative community, but I also, a lot of times I want to do things a little different because I have different interests and I have different things that I'm interested in learning about. I am not really
Mm-hmm.
into politics, but I like to be educated on it, if it makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Good,
Okay.
because it does affect everyone. It affects all areas of life. So at least have a basic understanding of what it is, because you have people
I got a
making
basic
decisions.
understanding.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good, because people are making decisions on your behalf. So it's important
I know, right?
to know. Yeah. And Jamari, good to see you.
Good to meet you, ma'am.
All right. So before we get going, I want to say one thing because I get this question a lot. Jamari is my cousin. He's not my brother.
Okay.
I get that a lot. Not from
Okay.
not from you or Joe, but like I think over the last week, like 5 people were like, "Yeah, Jamari, your brother Jamari." I'm like, "No, no, no. Our fathers were brothers."
Mm.
Yeah.
So
There's
if you
a
want to kind
resemblance.
of,
I can
I
see.
mean, it's
I can.
not that hard.
You get around our family, you definitely can see we are all related.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we like to talk about people's journeys to where they, to how they ended up where they are. And so I want to go back to how basically ask when did your interest in politics begin?
It goes back to when we were growing up. Our church used to do in the community, and we used to volunteer. You remember that, Jason? Javon.
Yes.
We
Yep.
volunteered every Sunday, and I started to take notice that we were there every Sunday, and notice similarities. And, I, at the time, um, maybe when I was around 14, 15, I was a suburb at that time. It's now like a French urban community, but it was like more. And my parents integrated our Black family in my neighborhood in East Hartford. So we would commute to Hartford, and the people that were there didn't look like the people that I would see in my community, right? And I noticed at 18 that the people who needed the most help, who needed the people who lived in a certain zip code, and people that looked a certain way. And I started to make that connection. I was 14, maybe younger than that, maybe 12. This connection that something is off about that,
Right.
right? And self questions like, why is this the case? What could be causing this gap, right?
Right.
Where the demographic of a certain demographic needed more help than others. And I didn't get an answer until I was about 16. When I was 16, my father's colleagues gifted me for my birthday a membership at CP.
A membership to the NAACP. Is
And
that what you said?
right.
Okay.
And I started to go to meetings, and I started learning, right? Some of the causes, the root causes of the social economic gap. So I was able to sort of put names to what I had been observing about 12, and started questioning, and how can I make a difference? How can I make a change? How can I help to equal the playing field for people. What got me interested, and then when I went to college and I took my first, I fell in love and I knew that that was it, right? In high school, your junior, senior year, I started to realize that either business or social involvement was going to be my key creating positive change. And then when I went to college and I started learning, this is it. This is how I can really make a positive impact. Something that to me, although it takes time, is a tangible hold on to and really help make lives better for my community, my family, for myself, and people that I don't know. So it started in the church, the opportunity to help, and then realizing on here, and then figuring out what it is that's how I can help to make a difference, how I can impact.
Awesome. Now, if we ask you a question again, it's because the audio kind of skips, so it's like it almost like it skips ahead in time. So
did you hear what I said?
We got it. We got everything.
Okay.
But just in case,
Absolutely.
that's cool. So your passion for it began within the church, and then kind of it seemed to kind of make its way to the secular world, which is awesome. I mean, I have my own stories about how the church influenced me. So what was outside of getting a membership at the NAACP and then going to college and getting involved in taking classes, what activities did you take part in kind of outside of school that furthered that your career goal in your mind?
Well, I've always been involved in community organizations, starting with the NAACP. I even chartered a chapter of the NAACP, a collegiate chapter there. But I'd have to say a lot of the organizations that I became a part of as I got older was I was exposed. So, for example, I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated as an organization that I learned about while I was in school. I actually me friends, two of my girlfriends, we started an after school program for girls at Hill House High School in New Haven, which was literally right next to my university. And
that's awesome.
And that was amazing. Those that were in that program ended up going on to college and attending, which was amazing to see again that impact that we had. But I was very involved on campus. But that kind of my aunt opened the door for me to be able to do other work within able to add other involvements to the work that I did, and sort of very long-standing involvement with the NAACP.
Awesome. Go ahead, Jamar.
So it sounds like you got involved very early. You had some opportunities that came that got you locked into civic duty early. What would you say would be a good way to start that with young people now? Because that's a unique gift you got that got you started. Well, what would you say would be something similar that could be done now?
Yeah, there are so many organizations that are really looking for youth. I would ask your parents, of which organizations they might see active in the community that they can become a part in. A part of the church, another good resource. What are some organizations that, either church members are involved in or partners that could work in the community with? That's a great way to do it. And even just need an organization to be involved in your community, really getting together with your peers. If you see something that needs to be changed, get together, either the folks that you just know from your community, or the folks, and then come up with a plan to do something, from the neighborhood. Okay, we are sick of seeing this as we walk home from school. Let's do something about it. Okay, let me, as a leader, right? Whether 3 or 4 of my classmates, my friends, and say, okay, I'm gonna come together and pick up this trash. So, it's like small things that feel small that really lead to big changes. And you do that consistently, evolved. And then next thing you know, you have a cleanup effort and then walking to school, you feel better walking to school because you don't have to see trash on your way. Morale goes up. People start feeling better about themselves because they're not living trash, right? They don't have to see that every day. So that's just a real life example, something that, maybe it's something going on in your school related to bullying or related to, something else. Just getting together with your classmates, brainstorming how we can make a change. Maybe it's, starting a anti-bullying group in your school, and doing programs. I was about 14 when I got my first job, right? And I was do you remember CRT, the community renewal team? I don't know if they're still there.
I believe they are.
Okay, I was part of the youth program. And what we used to do is we used to role play, right? We were 14, so we used to do different role playing situations about just difficult things and we would do that to our peers, share, different scenarios. This is a positive way to deal with the situation. This is a negative way to do, their options. You don't have to just, feel like that into a corner. And that was very, very impactful because we were doing it to our peers. So they were seeing them the same age as them, that experience the same things of them as they do. Saying, you don't have to respond in this way. There are other outcomes that are positive. Things like that. Getting involved with different community that will allow you to positively impact the life of someone's peers. I love to see youth and sing, right? So that's another opportunity, that someone to create positive change. A lot of seniors feel that if they feel forgotten, maybe it's taking a day of the week where you help the seniors in your neighborhood. You help your neighbor shopping. Okay, how can I help you? Can I walk with you to the store? Can I carry your groceries? Seemingly little things like that have really
small changes. Okay. So I'm going to go back a little bit. You said that you're a member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. What made you decide to pledge, and how has that kind of impact and influenced your life and your career?
Oh my goodness, it has had one of the best decisions that I've ever made. Honestly, I again have been very involved, and I noticed that that were involved in these organizations were Deltas. On my campus, the faculty that I looked up to, Deltas. You know, I would on the community, go to community events. There were Deltas that were leading. And okay, there's something about this organization that I need to know. And I fell in love immediately. Fell in love with the organization. What I feel is aligned with my life's work, which is service. That is what drew me to the organization, and it has affected my life. There are Deltas everywhere. In every endeavor that I've taken on, there's been a Delta that has that. And I've been able to help younger stores. It's been amazing. Even when I worked on the Hill, I met a store, and we stayed a group called Deltas on the Hill, right? And one member of Congress that was the Delta. Now there are many, and we would, provide professional support for one another. An amazing journey, and that was 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, 15 years ago. The group is still together, right? And it's interesting to see how another way that they're and are there and really provide that sisterhood.
Awesome. Yeah, I never we didn't have fraternities or sororities on my college campus, so I never had the pull that a black person generally would have. Like if you go to like Morehouse or Spelman or our larger universities. So, but I did know a couple people who did it. They pledged outside of the school, so I think they had to like pay money or something. But everybody I know. What'd you say?
For most organizations, there's a membership fee, but there
really
is, yeah.
I had no idea.
And all of these, this is how community thrive. They have to, they have staff working, and there's, it has to be supported. So I don't know.
I learned something new every day. I had no idea.
Any membership organization that does not have some sort.
So if you pledge, if you're like a freshman or a sophomore or whatever, you pledge, you have to pay a fee to join, or like a membership fee or something.
I think that's the case with all membership organizations.
I just didn't know. Like, all my information about fraternities, fraternities and sororities come from movies.
They all have dues.
Yeah,
all of them have dues.
They're dues, yeah. And I think that's, again, I am a part of probably 5 base service organizations, and they're dues. They're supported. Helps to support the organization.
Right, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, but it's been just a great experience, honestly. One of the best experiences that I have had.
All right, Jamari, go ahead.
And I will say this: so there were no Deltas on what we call the y'all there. I am the first from my school. I was the first in 10 years.
Wow.
It was a citywide chapter, so it included five schools. So I'm fortunate to be able to meet the Deltas from the other campuses. They were a point, and be able to develop relationships with them and get to know them, attend their events, and help where I could help, and have the opportunity while I was in college to. But honestly, all of these organizations are great, and it doesn't matter when you do it. It's I would recommend it to those who are looking seriously to commit to service, and it's always helpful, like-minded and committed to service that you can work with and develop relationships with, and in our case, a sisterhood.
I mean, it sounds like a great step to take if you are interested in, especially serving your community. So I can understand that, and I can get behind that. Jamari, go ahead, man.
My last question was about educating youth about getting them involved early. What about educating our adults in our community about politics and bridging that gap? Because I feel like that is something that's kind of lacking on that end.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think, we used to have I don't think they do that anymore. But, for older, I was used the same strategy and really making a connection, helping them make why it's important to be involved. And I use the trash example. It seems like a little thing, but say somebody, your trash, think of the impact that's going to have on the community, right? Local elected officials are the ones who make those decisions. When there are problems like trash, they take care of those problems. So if you have care, right, then you'll be in a situation where you are unhappy because you're living in trash where
right.
Government isn't working the way it's supposed to work and able to impact, right? You have to be involved. You got to be able to stand up and advocate for your interests, things that are important to you in this. And that's on every single level. There is somebody making a decision, and it's important for you to know who that is. It's important for you to know what those decisions are, and it's also important for you to be able to realize the power that you have. And officials are elected, right? We put them there. They work for us, and that some people don't know, understand, realize, right? So we have an opportunity to elect people who, again, care about us and care about the things that are important to us. In office, we have the ability to hold them accountable. Well, now you're not representing. I need you to. You're not making decisions that are helping me and my family deserve to be in that position. And that is our people's power. A lot of people just believe it in reverse, the power, control and empower, and the people don't have a say, and it's the opposite. It really is. That's the beauty of democracy, right?
Right.
It has its challenges. The system.
It definitely has challenges.
Absolutely.
One of the things, I guess, my personal education with politics is the power to actually run for office is something that a lot of people, I don't think, understand that they can exercise, because especially when it comes to local elections, and so yeah, that's something that I'm kind of realizing, because we've got somebody here who here in Georgia, they're a rapper, and they ended up getting they got a position in Athens, Georgia, because they went through the process and learned all the background stuff, and they ended up getting elected into a position, and then they took it very seriously. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, this can work.
Right. I mean, It can. And the key, a lot of times the loudest people are the ones that get heard. Have um, the opinion of the majority, but because they are involved, because they have the ear of sometimes the support goes that way. To really realize, we need to really understand that we do need to be heard. And just to bring it all, tie it back to my spirituality and my religion, tells me that it is mine to be involved, right? We're supposed to help our neighbors, right? The greatest commandment is to love that,
Right.
the second verse, right? How can you do that if you see your neighbor in need? How can you, and if it's not you, because a lot of us need, right? and even then we don't get involved, and try to the powers that be who are making decisions for us. How can we stand by and allow people to be in a way that is not Christ-like, right?
Right.
And there's biblical evidence to support for being involved, justly, right? Jesus advocated. His whole ministry was advocating for the poor, and those who that's my example, and that's what caused me to lead, and as it relates to politics and
Right.
advocacy like that.
So you've either been a part or started quite a few organizations. We've already kind of established that. Tell us about Women of Praize.
So Women of Praize is an organization that I founded while I was working on the Hill. It's an organization that provides spiritual support to women of color working in politics. And it came out of a need that I experienced, and a lot of my experienced as well, where politics is a dominated field. It is, and it can be very lonely for Black women, very difficult to navigate, a very difficult space to navigate. A lot of Black women, a lot of women of color, look towards their failed times to give them inspiration, give them strength. So there was a bad day, and I felt my otherness, felt the pressures of being a Black navigating this space, and I just called some of my girlfriends who and other around the Hill, and I said, "Listen, I need to pray. It's a difficult day for me." That they were having a difficult day too, and we were all navigating and coming up on that effectively at the same time. So we went out. We went on our break, prayed right there behind one of the house office buildings there on the Hill, and such a great time. We were so uplifted, and decided to do it regularly, and that's how the organization started.
Just that easy? Just that easy? Like we all hanging out
No,
and then just.
I mean, it's a simple thing, or okay, so the business building, it's a nonprofit 501c to do that. The technical parts about it, the business part, but it was very organic. Yes, very easy, because a lot of people need to. So we decided to, have prayer circles where we would literally pray and fellowship and learn growing the faith, right, and in our spirituality, and that's undergirded us as we were dealing of being public servants and trying to make the world a better place, but with the tension of you are the oppressed, right? You are
Right.
oppressed, and right, and it's not an easy thing to do. So how it started, we started doing more, right? So now we're not doing educational workshops, programs, and seminars that really help support the whole woman, right? From and growth to health to mental health, all to how do we build wealth, right? Do we show up in the space in strength but still take care of ourselves? So lots of different things that we do, and we partner with different organizations to put this service to women, all women, but specifically women in politics. So
Do you find it difficult to get women involved, like to get them involved in politics, especially women of color? Do you find it like difficult to bring new people in, or is it easy? Like, how's that work?
well, and it's long overdue, but we have many more Black women of color in politics now, either running for elected position, and that is very encouraging. So what I want to do is make sure in the role they're feeling support, right? And we know that our faith means so that is a very impactful space to operate, because there are a lot of challenges, and you get people that come into this space and they leave because it's burnout, it's crazy, against the system all the time, of racism, of sexism, of all of those things, all the isms
Right.
up against. So yeah, there are more people, more women of the space, which is great. Now it is hard, logistical business. So you kind of have to be nimble and flexible, and in the space you understand the space, and you just have to be flexible in terms of events and programming and things like that.
Sorry, I muted. There was a dog barking in the background. Go ahead, Jamari.
Again, my volume. Okay.
Go ahead.
You
Jamari.
find that did you find in your time that finding that fellowship worked across different ideologies as well? Because I know that politics is in behind the scenes it's not quite as contentious as it appears to be.
It is
for most of us.
It,
Okay. So I'm glad.
and it's extremely partisan right now, and it's so much worse than it was when I started. And but yes, no matter where you fall on the spectrum, there is a need for that spiritual support. I think even more so because it's such a polarizing environment that we are in. It comes down to relating to the person, not where they are politically, supporting the person.
Mm-hmm.
We don't politics, like in terms of I'm Republican. We don't talk about that. Look, I mean, we are a nonpartisan organization. We have people from different, ideological are involved. But
Okay. I didn't
it's
know that. I
about
didn't know that you had, I thought this was kind of either a Democratic or Republican organization, but it's
no,
kind of cool to hear you guys
it's,
have both sides.
yeah, naturally you look at the numbers, there are more women of color who are as Democrats, so you're going to see a larger number represented, but it's certainly open, and there are members that are not Democrats that are um, that are involved as well.
Okay, awesome. So I have a question, and I've always wanted to ask this question. You've worked on the Hill, as you said. You worked on Capitol Hill. Tell us something that, like, pull back the curtain and tell us something we would have never known about it. You know what I mean? Like, just give us something that the average person who has no idea what's going on, on Capitol Hill. Give us some educate us on something that we don't know about.
Well, I will say, people think that politics are rich and make a lot of money. That is the biggest myth. Now, I mean, if you are, okay, or but normal staff, congressional aides,
Hold on,
majority.
Adwoa, can you say that again? You were going in and out.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It just kind of goes in and out a bit.
I'm sorry about
that.
No,
don't worry about it.
No, people who are in politics, the majority of the people who are in politics do not make a lot of money.
Okay.
For many people, it is a matter of loving the work to make a difference. Yes, there are a few bad apples that we hear about, but that are not really in it for the people and to actually make life better. But the majority of people do, and I think that's a myth, because people assume. I know people thought I was making, and I make so much money, and especially when I was a Hill, we would go to receptions so we could, very young in my career, because we weren't making. That is a myth. That's something I think people would be surprised to hear. Okay. That most folks in politics, staffers, campaign workers, don't make a lot of money.
Okay, so I was just told that we can kind of barely hear you. So we gotta, I think it's the connection. It's like in and out.
Okay. All right.
I don't know how we fix that. I don't know if it might, once again, you're on your phone, right? Adwoa?
Yes. Can you hear me?
You're on your phone? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, because remember the something wasn't working with the volume, the speaker. I am on my phone. Can you hear me?
Okay. We can hear you. Jamari, can you hear?
Okay. I can hear.
It was just click. It would like cut off what you're saying and then come back later.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have not moved from where I've been. So okay.
I know. It's really probably not you. Unfortunately, the platform is not great for cell phones. I don't know why.
They have an app.
Yeah, they really do. I heard they have one, but we got to figure that out. Okay. All right. So, because I know I'm looking at the time, so don't worry. I got you. So you are a reverend. So are you ordained?
No, I just carried from seminary when I graduated from divinity school. I'm Adventist, and yeah. So that's more scholarly than just by virtue of the field that I'm in.
Okay. Do you want to like ever go down that road of actually like being a minister, as in like preaching?
Well, I do some of that, but ministry is what we call marketplace ministry, right? Which is not primarily focused on those who need either in addition to the church or those who just won't go to church. More traditional. For many of the people that I do minister to, it's in addition that they go to, but they're also interested in some more support.
Okay. All right. I was curious about that because I saw it and I was like, did she get ordained? Because like I know the Seventh-day Adventist Church kind of has issue with that. Like I don't remember the political reasoning behind it if it was still ongoing, because you rarely see
still ongoing. It is still ongoing.
That's tough.
It's still ongoing, but there are the North American division, though, the women, that they're different. So they're different places of the world church still voted
the world church
again. Okay. That's very frustrating for me. But good thing, my calling is like Jesus is a ministry, and that it is not within the it's to those who additional spiritual support or would not go, is not interested, but they still need to be attended to spiritually. So
right. Okay, Jamari, go ahead, man.
Well, so that actually is interesting about so that is an issue right now, the ongoing issue with your with the Seventh-day Adventist Church whole thing with women being able. Okay,
yeah.
What is what is being done about that right now? What is being said about it? I guess because that's something I'm curious about that, because I know that's touchy subject in not just that, but just in a lot of faith in general.
Yeah, look, it's ridiculous. Because you see biblically, biblical support for women in ministry. You see women engaged in ministry, and you don't see as much as you do with men, because you have to think about when the Bible was norms were there, right? So you're not going to see a lot of it, but there is when the Holy Spirit was poured out on the early, and the Bible says men and women were given these gifts where they were able to minister, right? Go out and bring people to Christ. So, I mean, there's a lot of growth that needs to happen within the church, and that are supportive, that are there, and I'm hoping that even later, that change is made.
What can men do to ally?
It's interesting.
Ally with that?
We didn't hear you. Say it again, Adwoa.
Oh, I didn't hear what Jamari said.
No, he said, what can men do to help facilitate the change?
Listen, this is it goes, like you said, it goes beyond the Adventist church. So when I post things, so I have a public on Facebook, and I post things, sermons, all sorts of things, and there is always that are saying
Always
that
what? You went out. What did you
there
say? There's
are
always
there
what?
are all there that are saying that it is not my place, to I shouldn't be ministering, and I mean every single post there. I have banned so many users, so I think and it's I guess it right, because I didn't realize how many people felt like that. Circles that I'm around, right, are accepting and whatnot. But and I think the more that men speak up about the need for there to be equal playing for also called to ministry, I think the more accepting people, that's a great way to do it, in your own churches and saying about it, being supportive, that change, I think that would help change the perceptions that people have that women are not cut out to the work.
Right. Okay. I mean, Jamari, I know a little bit about it, but this is a long-standing issue. So this isn't like new. This is like for a long time. It's different for me because I came from being a Baptist. So I've seen Baptist churches. There are a ton of women that are ministers and reverends and stuff like that. So it was always weird for me to see in the Seventh-day Adventist Church that it's an issue. But I mean, it. The issue goes to the top. So I mean, unfortunately, so we got about 10 minutes. I do want to okay, so you have a background in political fundraising. What goes into that, like, and how difficult is it?
So I have my background is in fundraising, political, and fundraising is not easy to do in either. I love it because it's very people centered and help move forward organization that you believe in, that's doing good work on issues that in the case of politics, a person that believes in something you believe in that you feel represents your needs. So it's very rewarding and fulfilling, and those people and organizations do something to you. It's not easy to ask for money, right?
Right.
A person
Right. I got
be able to do that. But I don't have a problem doing it. I do it all the time. In my last job, and it was a Christian organization, a social justice and advocacy organization, and raised about $6.5 million.
Oh, wow.
And it was a joy to be a steward, help bring those funds to the organization so that they can those who, the least of these, right? So,
Right.
at different points in our piece, right? So it's not separate and apart, but being able to do that I felt great. But yeah, you have to ask people for money. Nobody, a lot of people are okay with doing that, but when it's for a cause that's important, and that without done in the way that it can with the money, you just ask for it.
Okay. So we got 5 minutes. So Jamari, I think we're gonna do one more. and then we'll give you an opportunity to, tell us what you got coming up, any events or anything that you want to let people know. So go ahead, Jamari. Last question.
What was Javon like when he was
hell.
younger?
Let me tell you, me and Javon got into a couple of fights.
Why you keep calling them fights? We ain't getting no fights. I'm not fighting no girl. What are you talking about? Joe would like push me and like be hitting on me, and I just got you stand there and take it.
So what you're saying is she was your bully.
She was a bully. Yeah, that's right.
No,
Joe was
absolutely not.
Jabari, I didn't say it. Jabari did. I didn't say it. Jabari did. So,
out there,
I'm just saying, I felt
no.
Real talk. Joe was the first person I made friends with at Faith.
Mm-hmm.
She was the first person. She was the first person that like I spoke to, because like I had come from Union Baptist Church to Faith, and I didn't know anybody. And then like she introduced herself to me in Sabbath school.
Yes,
so she was one of the first people. She was really nice to me. She was very nice. She's not a bully.
I love me some Javon to this day. One of my oldest friends.
You did not always like me now.
No. There were times, like I said, there were times that were, but we were, very proud of Javon and the things that he's doing.
I can acknowledge. I am old enough to acknowledge that I was annoying when I was younger. So
sometimes.
Now I know I was annoying a lot. I'm okay with it. You gotta be, have a little self-awareness.
No, I disagree with that. Not a lot.
There are people who would disagree with you, but I am proud of you. Like, I don't generally get to say this, but because we're both busy. You got the kids and 50-11 organizations and everything. But I'm so proud of all the things that you've done, everything you've accomplished. And I wanted to make sure that not only did I get you on the show, but I gave you your flowers while you were at it. So, I'm proud of you as a friend, and I can't wait to see what you got going on in the future. So you want to let us know what you got going on, let people know, any events or anything.
Yeah, well, we do a prayer circle is geared towards women of color working in politics. So if you are interested and you do have some time, we'd love to have you. They're short, they're half an hour, but they're super half an hours of the day. And it is open. You are welcome to join. If you need information about the work that we do at Women of Praize, Praize spelled with Z.
Is it womenofpraise.com?
Yes, .com. Yes. Yeah.
All right, here we go. I got it right down there, everybody. Womenofpraise.com.
Oh, yes. And that's how you can keep up with us. You can join, sign up for our newsletter. You'll be informed on our different events that we're having. It's just really a good time. Really a meaningful time. Time we meet. You will learn something new. You will learn from the women in the group, and that's what it's about. So I welcome anyone to join. Our educational events are not only we did and actually Roy was one of the panelists, Javon.
Awesome.
But we did a panel on men's health and wellness. And
okay,
it's great. So we don't forget about the men. And we did a program on prostate cancer, a very powerful program. So there are also opportunities for men to get in doing.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, if I can help in any way, let me know. You got my information. I would love to uh, help you in your mission and your ministry.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
absolutely.
This is great to be able to share, be able to see you, and to meet your co-host are so relaxed. Like your personality, or is this just your podcast personality?
Me?
Yeah.
I am relaxed all the time.
Okay.
I guess Javon sees a more intense version depending on what we're talking about.
Okay.
So,
Oh yeah. Oh
so,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Because Javon is intense.
I am not intense.
Yeah,
I'm
you can
like
be
passionate.
intense. So, yeah,
I
passionate.
know
Yes.
I'm passionate.
Yeah.
I don't know if intense. I've never been called intense.
Oh, passionate. I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. So
I
I
appreciate
embrace
it.
it. Very
I
passionate,
appreciate it.
and it's important to but you guys are a good balance for one another, and I like it. So keep
Well, thank
doing
you.
what you're
thank
doing.
you.
Thank you so much. So once again, thank you, Adwoa Rey, for joining us, founder of Women of Praise. Like I said, you can go to womenofpraise with the Z.com for any more information. And thank you all for joining us for another episode of a Stoked podcast. And yeah, we'll see you next week. And one of these days, we're going to celebrate having 50 episodes, but I don't know when. We'll figure it out. But y'all have a great weekend. And we'll see you next week for more creative talk with creative people. Take care.